continue to collaborate and find other resources to be able to push this matters. I think that in my experience, I'm a Nigerian, and I used to work with a project on HIV along the coast of West Africa. We had this project which had all the 5 countries from Nigeria to Cote d'Ivoire. The Secretary General was an Ivorian, and I came to Cote d'Ivoire many times on that project. But what I'm going to is that I want to congratulate the country for being able to come out of conflict and establish itself very quickly, because many countries don't do it,
Yeah.
And they continue to
take longer.
Then the fight goes on, and you have this and you have that. But Cote d'Ivoire seems to have moved on, and I'm happy for Cote d'Ivoire, because I think Cote d'Ivoire represents particular geography for us as Africans in terms of the stability it had before and what it was able to do to the neighboring countries, and I think that's what it has come back to do now. And I was very happy the last 3 weeks ago I was in Tunis, and we were talking about how the African Development Bank has now gone back to Cote d'Ivoire. I think just want to congratulate and to say that we at UNFPA, we don't have a lot of money, but the little we have, we would continue to do our best to serve as catalysts in terms of doing what we can for the development of
Thank you, Monsieur le Directeur Exécutif.
I think she will translate.
No, you translate very well. You translate and I speak in French.
Okay, but you don't need me to translate what he just said. Do you want me to translate it?
No, it was fine. Yes,
Okay, no problem.
Je voudrais, Monsieur le Directeur, vous remercier pour ce temps que vous nous accordez. J'ai souvenir que l'année dernière déjà, vous nous aviez reçus. Et cette année également, vous nous consacrez du temps. Je voudrais, au nom de la délégation que je conduis, vous remercier très sincèrement.
She would like to thank you for the opportunity of being today. And the same opportunity was given to her last year when she came with her delegation. So she's very happy to be here with you.
J'ai entendu avec beaucoup d'intérêt votre intervention. Je voudrais donc rebondir pour vous féliciter, en tout cas pour ce que vous faites pour la Côte d'Ivoire. Et en Côte d'Ivoire avec l'équipe pays qui a à sa tête Madame Maïga, qui nous assiste, qui nous encadre, qui nous épaule, qui nous soutient au niveau technique, mais aussi financier. Vous avez dit que l'UNFPA n'a pas beaucoup d'argent, mais je pense que le peu que vous avez nous permet d'accomplir des miracles.
So she would like also to thank you for the UNFPA program in Côte d'Ivoire and the very good collaboration she has with Mrs. Maida, our representative there. And although you said that our resources are scarce, she still very much appreciates what UNFPA is doing for the country.
Alors je pense que de façon générale, l'UNFPA est avec nous dans tous nos grands projets, mais il a cité le programme sur le Sahel. Il y a d'ailleurs, depuis ce matin à Abidjan se tient une réunion technique justement pour travailler avec tous nos ministères sectoriels de façon à bien comprendre les différentes composantes donc, de ce programme. Et nous avons également, avec l'UNFPA, travaillé à l'élaboration d'une stratégie nationale de lutte contre les violences basées sur le genre. Et cette stratégie est un des acquis importants de la Côte d'Ivoire et c'est un instrument qui nous permettra de bien adresser cette question. C'est donc le deuxième point des points dont je voudrais parler avec ce directeur. Et enfin, nous avons le document de politique nationale de la famille, qui est un document extrêmement important, qui est également en cours de validation avec l'appui de l'UNFPA. Et cela grâce à ses collaborateurs, voyez-vous, l'UNFPA est très riche.
So she's saying that with the scarce resources you've mentioned, we were able to support the work of national DBD strategy and also another national family policy. So we are doing many things with.
Et il y a un dernier point que je voudrais également relever, c'est notamment la campagne de sensibilisation en ce qui concerne donc la lutte contre la mortalité maternelle. En Côte d'Ivoire, la Karma, qui est une initiative africaine et qui a été lancée en Côte d'Ivoire il y a un peu plus d'1 an. Mais je suis en tant que ministre en charge de la femme assez préoccupée parce que notre pays applique de très grandes initiatives en matière donc de protection de la santé maternelle et infantile. Nous avons la gratuité ciblée qui permet donc une meilleure protection sanitaire des femmes et des enfants de 0 à 5 ans. Nous avons la prise en charge complète des frais d'accouchement, notamment en ce qui concerne également les césariennes. C'est pour ça que je suis d'ailleurs avec le professeur Anamba, qui est le président de la Société de gynécologie de Côte d'Ivoire et qui est donc partenaire du ministère. Malheureusement, nous avons quand même un taux encore élevé de mortalité de femmes qui meurent encore pendant l'accouchement. Et cela est dû au fait que les femmes ne participent pas, ne se présentent pas toutes aux consultations obligatoires. Vous savez, sur les 4 consultations obligatoires, en général, elles assistent à une seule, elles se présentent à une seule consultation, voire à aucune consultation, ce qui naturellement met leur vie en danger. Donc nous avons besoin d'accélérer, n'est-ce pas, cette campagne de sensibilisation à l'endroit des femmes, notamment dans le milieu rural. Donc voici les quelques préoccupations que je voulais échanger avec ce directeur. Je connais son leadership et je sais ce qu'il est capable de faire pour nous aider, n'est-ce pas, dans ces 4 points.
Knowing your leadership, sir, she's saying that the awareness they have launched an awareness campaign to fight maternal mortality a year ago for the campaign was very important. And
Le professeur Anamba.
Professor Anamba is
le président de la Société de gynécologie.
She would like to have our support.
We would do our best because, of course, working with the Association of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, we believe that we can use that platform to provide quality services to women and to reach them wherever they may be, because I think the problem always is not about the ability of the doctor to make a difference. It's about the patient getting to the doctor most of the time. And I think we need a rethink about that to make sure that we can provide services close to them and make sure that we reduce maternal mortality. And I am committed to that. At UNFPA, we work with professional bodies, and we actually have an MOU with FIGO. So we work with the International Federation of Obstetrics and Gynecologists. And I had the distinction of being awarded the honorary fellowship of the Royal College of Obstetrics and Gynecology. I'm a physician, and I'm a fellow of the Royal College of Physicians. And then, then they gave me obstetrics and gynecology fellowship. So it calls me to action to make sure that we look after women. And I think, from what we know, we can reduce this considerably. There are some things that we might have to change because in any of our countries, we don't have enough doctors, we don't have enough obstetricians, we don't have enough midwives to attend to everybody.
Yes.
We don't. And what we might have to do is to make sure that we train more people to at least deliver midwifery services. So if we do that, and we have them close to communities, at least they can look after them to ensure that they have 3 or 4 antenatal visits. They can assist them when they give normal birth. They can also identify those who have problems, so they can refer them to a place where they will need emergency obstetric care. But I think we need to invigorate it. And one thing I find, which I think has worked in some other African countries, is to actually have accountability around it. See, because if nurses, doctors, midwives, if they're not held accountable, then this thing just, in my country, when people die, everybody says, "Oh, that's God's wish." Everybody just walks away. But the point about it is that when you look at it, you can actually help many of these people. And until we hold professionals accountable for what they're doing, we're not going to reduce that. And I think it's something we have to.
Je pense peut-être, je ne sais pas si le professeur voudrait ajouter quelque chose, mais il a abordé une question très intéressante. Je pense que c'est les intermédiaires entre le corps médical et la communauté. Et nous avons justement au niveau du ministère de la Famille, nous avons ce que nous appelons l'encadrement communautaire, donc l'action communautaire. Et c'est une entité, si vous voulez, que nous voulons redynamiser. C'est une entité qui est pilotée donc par des personnes, du personnel social, mais avec l'appui aussi de volontaires et d'ONG. Mais si nous avons un appui à la matière, nous pouvons être plus efficaces et nous pouvons mieux toucher les différentes communautés, notamment en milieu rural.
She said you touched upon something very important.
She also talked about NGOs.
Yes, I mean, so now you understand. Soon you won't need me anymore.
Oui, parce que le corps médical.
You understand.
But did I tell you the story?
Yes.
I told you. Yeah, I was in Paris for 6 months trying to learn French. But I became an English teacher. I went to a hospital in arrondissement 15, Hôpital Necker, the pediatric hospital. And I was there. Yeah, I was there. I was to learn French. But everybody, all my colleague doctors there, spoke a little bit of English. And they wanted to speak English. So they kept speaking English to me. And I never learned French. but I pick it. And I can read. If you give me French medical literature, I can tell you what they say. Because I also edited the African Journal of Medicine and Medical Sciences, which gives me, for every English article, there is a French translation. For every French article, there's an English translation. So kind of God's plan. So, yes, we would. But I think, working with the association, I think we can strengthen that, and the association can work with government to actually establish norms and standards that make sure that people do what they're supposed to do. And we know that it's not going to be only those who are employed by government alone. It's going to be community, it's going to be sorts of people who will be participating in this, because the whole concept of care has to be driven from the ground. And fact of the matter, I know in Nigeria, because I was Minister of Health at some point.
Yeah.
Women and people in our communities have confidence in those they know. So if you come from somewhere, they might be the best skilled in the world, they won't talk to you because they don't know. But if there's somebody there who they know, who they believe in, they will. And in that sense, that's why sometimes they become victims of quacks who live with them, who tell them this is what to do, this is not what to do. So we need to take control and just make sure that we give the skills, we supervise, there is an accountability around it. So if you, and I know of a country in Africa where if a woman dies in pregnancy, the doctor is supposed to report to the Minister of Health. And that...
I don't understand. If the woman dies?
Yes. If a woman dies in labor,
yeah,
or bleeds to death, or anything happens to her, the doctor who is attending to her, or the midwife, is supposed to report to the Minister of Health.
Why?
Because they want to know that somebody has died. And when you report, they are going to ask you to give a reason why the person died. And they are going to ask you to explain what did you do when you saw the sign.
Ça c'est important. C'est un...
C'est la notion d'audit des décès.
Oui, l'audit des décès.
Des décès
Comment ça
dans la communauté. Ce qu'on appelle l'autopsie verbale.
Oui.
Ou quand les gens décèdent de la communauté, il faut qu'on ait un rapportage des causes et des facteurs qui ont pu concourir à ce décès. Voici pourquoi le relais communautaire est très important. Parce que le problème de sensibilisation surtout. Et monsieur le directeur exécutif, c'est lui de quoi il parle, en tant que praticien. Il faut enquêter à la base pour savoir dans la communauté qu'est-ce qui n'a pas marché.
C'est ça.
Et rapporter pour identifier les facteurs. Les causes des décès, on les connaît. Hein. C'est les hémorragies, c'est les infections, c'est les complications d'hypertension. Mais avec tout ça, il y a les facteurs qu'on peut rechercher dans la communauté lorsqu'il y a des décès dans la communauté. Ça, c'est les enquêtes dans la communauté. Et il y a le des décès dans les structures hospitalières.
Tout à fait.
Où il faut mettre un genre d'observatoire qui suit les décès maternels qui sont des signes d'alerte pour pouvoir réagir à tous les niveaux. Ça, c'est très important. Aujourd'hui, l'UNFPI est en train de mettre en place le principe de comité de suivi des décès maternels, régionaux, départementaux, nationaux, où, au-delà des chiffres de décès, on doit impulser l'action, les interventions à mettre pour éviter les décès dans la communauté, dans les régions, dans les départements, jusqu'au district, pour pouvoir faire baisser. Parce qu'aujourd'hui, sur le plan communautaire, quand on voit les indicateurs de décès, les taux sont plus élevés en milieu rural qu'en ville. Donc le vrai problème, c'est en milieu rural. Donc le relais communautaire est important. On a un volet sensibilisation qui est très important. Et il faudrait vraiment, comme vous l'avez dit, un appui. Une société savante comme la nôtre, c'est pas aujourd'hui, veut dépasser le cas des rencontres scientifiques pour aider toutes les parties prenantes à développer des interventions de santé publique, surtout dans la communauté. À deux points, la contraception. Expliquer aux femmes rurales que la contraception est un des facteurs qui peut diminuer les décès maternels.
C'est ça.
Parce que espacer les naissances, limiter les naissances permet de prévenir les décès maternels. Mais il faut un relais communautaire. Il faut initier la contraception en milieu rural.
Il faut vraiment qu'on ait une appui.
It's very important, this community relay. For example, if the woman who did not come to a regular center died from giving birth, that gets reported as such. So that we have to collect the data and then can identify those rural areas where women are not getting the services they should, and explain also the whole issue of contraceptive and family planning.
Very important. Very important.
So the relays, I mean, they really would like to be supported.
I would tell Madam Maiga to work with you.
Okay.
So you can have a frame to work, because one of the other problems, well, it's not a problem, but one of the drawbacks of what we've done before is that when we talk about maternal mortality, we talk about it in national terms. So when I ask, they will tell me, oh, maternal mortality ratio or whatever in Cote d'Ivoire is 200 or 250. But you see, it doesn't help you, it doesn't help me, because what it tends to do is hide where the problems are. So whereas in Abidjan, it might be 20. In the north, it might be 500.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So what you then tend to get is that you hide the problems in a national figure, which doesn't enable you to plan effectively. So what we need to do going forward, which is what the professor has said, is disaggregate it, collect the data from the ground, so we know where the problem is. So when we are making investment, either through government or by us, we know where to go and put the resources so that we can develop it effectively. Otherwise, you know, it will never work. I mean, you know, and I think the next planning phase, that's what we have to do. We have to break it down so we know exactly what's where. Even within Abidjan itself, there will be areas of Abidjan that would be badly affected compared to the others. And so if you don't have that kind of sensitivity in terms of data, you cannot respond to it. I think it's important.
Ok. Je pense qu'on a pris bonne note. Donc, ces recommandations, nous allons travailler dans ce sens-là. Mais non, je voudrais vraiment également insister auprès de M. le directeur exécutif pour notre stratégie nationale. C'est le bébé de l'UNFPA. Il faut qu'on réussisse à mobiliser les ressources. La stratégie nationale de lutte contre les violences basées sur le genre. C'est vraiment le bébé de l'UNFPA en Côte d'Ivoire. Et c'est l'un des acquis de l'Afrique. C'est une bonne pratique qui sert un peu de modèle aux autres pays aujourd'hui qui viennent prendre notre expertise en la matière. Mais il faut qu'on réussisse à mobiliser les ressources pour la mettre en œuvre.
So it's missing now the mobilization of resources.
We'll do our best. But let me end by saying that we will support Cote d'Ivoire. You have one of our best reps. She's been there for quite a while. She might move very soon, but if she moves, we'll give you just as good a person to come. We truly regard Cote d'Ivoire as a place where we have to continue to invest. And I'll end by telling you a story. My first day on this job, the 1st of January 2011, 1st of January 2011, it was a Saturday. because the Saturday was rainy, it was snowing.
Wow.
Il a une bonne mémoire. Hein?
And I told myself that I had to go to work because that was my first day. And I went there, and there was somebody who was receiving me. So I said, what's the most urgent problem we have to deal with now? He said, oh, there is a problem in Cote d'Ivoire. I said, what's the problem? He said, they're fighting themselves. So that was 1st of January 2011. And I called Madam Maiga.
Yeah.
And I said, tell me what's going on. Oh, you know, we are running back and forth. We are hiding in places and all. You know, that was just 5 years ago. And in less than 5 years, you guys have moved.
Yes.
Incredible. So, let me congratulate you, and I would continue to do my best to serve. OK?
OK, ben, je pense qu'on a dit merci à M. le directeur exécutif d'avoir consacré du temps à la Côte d'Ivoire encore une fois. C'est vrai qu'il nous porte dans son cœur.
So, thank you once again for receiving the Côte d'Ivoire delegation. Apparently, you have them in your heart.
Yeah. I do, and there is a professor, a lady, professor of obstetrics.
Yes.
She's a lady, she's a woman in Abidjan who received me very well. Was my friend. I don't remember the name. She excellent. She actually received me and she gave me dinner in her house and all that. Because WHO did a terrible thing to me, and I will never forget. They asked me to consult. They gave me consultancy in Cote d'Ivoire, but they gave me somebody who was French speaking to come with me. Unfortunately, my companion couldn't come, so I was alone, and I was sitting in the teaching hospital talking to them. I spoke no French, they spoke no English, but in some way we were able to manage it, and I wrote a report finally. Thank you very much.
Sorry.